She doesn't care how much money you spend, how many gifts you buy, or how many hours you sacrifice trying to win her over. What she truly responds to goes far deeper. This is the hard truth most men avoid. Yet it explains why so many end up confused, heartbroken, and questioning their worth. You can plan the perfect dates, send flowers, cover her bills, and bend over backward just to make her smile, yet still watch her pull away. It feels unfair, doesn't it? Because deep down, you believed loyalty was earned by doing more. But women are not wired that way. A woman does not stay for your wallet, your favors, or even your promises. She stays for your presence, your strength, and your masculine steadiness. That's the paradox men miss. She doesn't fall in love with the things you do. She falls in love with the man you become when you stop chasing, when you hold your standards, and when you embody a calm, grounded presence she cannot ignore. In this video, I'll break down the hidden psychology of female loyalty. You'll see why pleasing her never works, why neediness always destroys desire, and why true attraction begins with protecting your dignity. Before we dive in, drop a comment below. Have you ever given too much and watched her drift away? And if this resonates, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Stoic truths that will shift how you see women forever. Number 1, she craves your presence, not your favors. One of the greatest misconceptions men carry, especially older men, though it applies at any age, is believing that a woman will fall deeper in love if you constantly do things for her. You might convince yourself, if I just give more, buy more, sacrifice more, she'll finally see how much I care. But the truth is far less complicated. Women don't form lasting bonds through the endless stream of tasks you complete. They connect to the way they feel when you are truly there. Presence matters more than favors, because presence is about energy. It's about calmness, stability, and the masculine steadiness that makes her feel secure, noticed, and understood. Favors buying her gifts, solving her every problem, rearranging your entire schedule can easily become transactional. And once something feels transactional, attraction quietly begins to die. Consider Daniel, a 36-year-old man from Seattle. He once dated Olivia, who was 28. Daniel believed that the secret to her heart was constant effort. He arranged lavish dinners, surprised her with weekend trips, even volunteered to help with her workload when she was overwhelmed. At first, Olivia smiled and thanked him, but slowly, her spark faded. She didn't feel his presence. He was always doing, yet rarely being. Everything changed when Daniel decided to slow down. Instead of racing around to prove himself, he started listening fully when Olivia spoke. He held her gaze, turned off his phone, and carried himself with steady composure. That's when she leaned closer again. Why? Because presence communicates confidence and self-respect, while favors often whisper insecurity, like you're attempting to purchase her affection. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Presence is exactly that, a quality of thought and attention. It's not measured by how many things you can do, but by the depth of your focus in the moment. Take another example. Emma Archelieu once told a friend that what she loved most about her partner, Thomas Sancher, wasn't the gifts he bought. It was the evenings when he sat beside her after a hard day. Phone off. Simply listening. It feels like he's really with me. She said, that presence meant more than any expensive gesture. Here's the paradox. Many men lose women not because they failed to give enough, but because they never learned the art of simply being there with calm strength. Presence even creates mystery. When you're attentive without over-giving, she leans in with curiosity. So the next time you're tempted to fix everything with favors, pause and ask yourself, am I truly here with her? Or am I hiding behind actions because I fear just being? Remember, favors fade, but presence leaves a permanent imprint. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself trying to do more instead of simply being present? Drop it in the comments with, I choose presence. That's your declaration today. Number 2, gifts fade, but energy lingers. Let's be honest, gifts are nice. Flowers, dinners, surprise jewelry, all of them can light up her face for a moment. But here's the truth. Most men overlook those gifts are temporary. They create a spark of emotion, a short thrill, but then they fade away. What truly remains is not the object you handed her, but the energy you carried when you were with her. Think about it. A man can give a woman flowers from a place of insecurity, hoping she'll finally like him more. In that moment, the flowers don't feel like romance, they feel like compensation. But if the same flowers are given with calm confidence, with no expectation of return, the entire gesture changes. It's no longer about the bouquet. It's about the presence, the steady energy, the silent message that says, I am already enough. This is where many men, especially older men dating younger women, go wrong. They overestimate the value of the material and underestimate the power of their own masculine energy. But women are not wired to bond with possessions. They bond with how you make them feel. That's the paradox. She will forget the shoes, the dinners, the jewelry, but she will never forget how your presence made her feel in a crowded room or in a quiet moment when she felt exposed and vulnerable. The Stoics understood this long before psychology gave it language. Epictetus wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The wisdom applies perfectly here. A woman is not magnetized by the possessions you parade in front of her. She is drawn to the energy you radiate when you don't need to buy her affection, when you carry yourself as if you are already whole. Your presence itself becomes the gift that never fades. Here's why this matters. Gifts without depth create a cycle of expectation. If you show up every time with something in your hand, you train her to look for material proof instead of emotional connection. Over time, attraction shifts into transaction, and nothing kills desire faster than a relationship that feels transactional. Energy is different. Energy is about being calm, grounded, and attentive. It's the memory she replays long after you're gone. She replays the way you looked at her with steady eyes, the way you listened without interrupting, the way your presence made her feel safe and alive. That's what lingers, not the dinner bill. And remember, energy isn't about doing more. It's about doing less. With intention, turning off your phone, holding eye contact, speaking slowly, carrying yourself with self-respect. Seneca captured it perfectly. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. If you crave her validation and bury her in gifts, you act from poverty. But if you give your grounded self without needing anything back, you are rich. So here's the bottom line: give gifts if you want, but never mistake them for the glue that holds attraction together. The real magnet is your energy. Now pause and reflect. Have you been chasing connection through things instead of energy? If so, declare your shift today. Drop it in the comments with "I bring energy." Number 3, neediness kills her desire. Don't scroll away just yet, because this point is where most men unknowingly lose everything. Neediness doesn't just weaken attraction, it destroys it. Nothing will push a woman away faster than sensing you cannot stand strong without her approval. She doesn't lose interest because of who you are as a man, but because of how you show up when fear and insecurity take over. Let me illustrate with a story. There was a man named Michael, 35 years old, dating Sophie, a woman of 29. At first, things were effortless. Michael was confident, playful, and magnetic. Sophie admired his independence and calm energy. But over time, Michael's attitude shifted. Every delayed text from Sophie sent him into panic. Every night she wanted time for herself. He worried she was slipping away. He began asking for constant reassurance, checking in too often, apologizing for things he didn't need to apologize for. Sophie didn't pull back because she stopped liking him. She pulled back because his neediness suffocated her desire. Here's the truth: women are drawn to men who can stand firmly in their own presence. They respect a man who cares, but they recoil from a man who needs. The difference is night and day. Caring is strength. It means you choose to give love freely. Neediness is desperation. It means you cling to her to fill an empty space inside yourself. And women feel it instantly. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." When your peace depends on her constant validation, you've already lost your center. You hand her the steering wheel of your emotional state. And no woman truly desires a man who cannot steer his own ship. What happened to Michael? When he finally recognized his mistake, he pulled back, not from Sophie, but from the urge to control her. He stopped checking his phone every 2 minutes. He focused on his work, his training, his mission. He rebuilt the calm independence that first drew Sophie to him. And something shifted. Sophie began reaching out again. Not because Michael begged, but because his energy became magnetic once more. By letting go of neediness, he restored his presence. Remember, this desire dies in the shadow of desperation, but it thrives in the light of confidence. So I'll leave you with a challenge. If you've ever noticed yourself slipping into that anxious pattern, declare it now. Drop a comment below with the words, "I choose strength," because strength, not neediness, is what keeps her desire alive. Number 4, respect is the root of loyalty. At the center of every lasting connection, one principle stands taller than all others: respect. Gifts may excite her, attention may flatter her, even passion may thrill her, but none of these can hold her loyalty if respect is missing. Loyalty is not a product of how much you buy her, how many hours you give her, or how deeply you profess your feelings. It's born from respect, how she sees you as a man. Here's the paradox most men don't understand. They try to buy loyalty with overgiving. They bend their standards, sacrifice their principles, and put her on a pedestal. But every act of overcompensation only erodes respect further. And when respect dies, loyalty collapses with it. A woman may enjoy gifts, favors, or attention in the moment, but long-term, she stays only if she looks at you with admiration. Ask yourself, does she see you as a man she can look up to? Someone who remains calm under pressure, someone who holds his ground even when it's inconvenient? Or does she see you as a man who bends his integrity just to avoid her disapproval? That answer reveals her loyalty more than anything else. Yes, attraction may spark desire. Yes, affection may keep things warm. But only respect makes her loyalty unshakable. Without it, she may still like your company, but silently, she is already drifting away. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, to be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What does that mean in this context? It means living firmly by your values, even if others mock you. It means rejecting the need for constant approval. And, paradoxically, the man who refuses to please everyone ends up being respected the most. Respect in relationships works the same way. If a man compromises his standards just to keep the peace, she may smile for the moment. But beneath the surface, she begins to lose faith in him. Why? Because if he cannot stand for himself, she knows he cannot stand for her either. That is why women test men. They push boundaries, not always to rebel, but to see if the man is anchored, if he stands firm. Her respect and her loyalty grow. If he folds, her respect fades, and loyalty crumbles with it. But remember, respect is mutual. Just as you want her respect, she too wants to feel respected. And here's the paradox. She feels respected not when you indulge her every demand, but when you treat her as strong enough for truth, accountability, and consistency. True respect is not indulgence. It is honesty, discipline, and boundaries. Provision alone won't hold her. Comfort alone won't secure her. Another man can always outspend you, but no one can outrespect you if you build it daily. So, if you want her loyalty, stop chasing approval. Start living a life worthy of respect. Show strength under pressure. Stand tall in your values. Lead with clarity and consistency. Because here's the truth. A woman can love you, desire you, and admire you. But she will only be loyal if she respects you. And when that respect runs deep, her loyalty will endure beyond mood swings, temptations, and doubts. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe respect matters more than love in relationships? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you agree, write, "I earn respect." Number 5. Standards spark her attraction. One of the greatest misconceptions men carry is the idea that saying yes to everything will win a woman's heart. They believe flexibility equals attraction. They think agreeing with her opinions, sacrificing their own preferences, and bending their principles will make her stay. But the reality is the opposite. What truly ignites attraction in a woman is seeing that you, as a man, have standards, not just vague ideas, but real boundaries and non-negotiables that define your character. Women are drawn to strength, and strength isn't measured only in physical power or wealth. It's revealed in character. When you demonstrate that you live by values and won't crumble for approval, she begins to see you as rare, solid, and worthy of respect. That is where attraction takes root. Take Daniel, a 5-year-old architect. He started dating Emma Arshaju, a graphic designer. At first, Daniel slipped into the trap of trying too hard to please. He skipped workouts to accompany her shopping, pretended to enjoy shows he didn't care about, and went along with plans even when he was exhausted. He thought this would make Emma appreciate him. But the opposite happened. Emma grew distant. Her respect faded because Daniel had no backbone. The turning point came when Emma asked him to cancel a weekend project deadline to join her on a spontaneous trip. This time, Daniel calmly replied, "I'd love to travel with you, but this project matters to me. Let's plan something next weekend instead." That one decision shifted the dynamic. Emma suddenly saw a man who valued his mission more than her temporary approval. And that respect reignited her attraction. She realized Daniel wasn't a pushover, he was anchored. This isn't about being stubborn or rigid. It's about demonstrating that your life, goals, and values matter. When a woman sees that you respect yourself enough to set boundaries, she knows that being with you is a privilege, not something you hand out from desperation. Let's look at another example. Olivia Arshelu was dating Ryan Sanchati, a personal trainer. She often asked him to stay out late, even though he had early sessions with clients. Instead of giving in, Ryan explained, "I enjoy our nights together, but my mornings are important for my work. If you want late nights, Friday works best for me." Olivia resisted at first, but eventually she admired him for sticking to his discipline. His standards became the very thing that made her feel safe and drawn to him. Here's the truth: when you live with standards, you challenge her to rise to them. That challenge excites her. She may test you, but those tests aren't to break you, they're to confirm your strength. A man without standards is forgettable. A man with standards becomes unforgettable. Now let me ask you, are you the man who bends just to keep her happy, or the man who stands tall in his principles? Drop your answer in the comments and stamp it with "I hold standards." And stay tuned, because what comes next will reveal why attraction isn't only about what you stand for, but about what inspires her loyalty even when desire shifts. Number 6, lead her. Don't please her. One of the most difficult truths for men to accept is this: a woman doesn't want a man who bends and twists just to keep her happy. She wants a man who knows who he is, a man who has a clear direction, a man who can lead with confidence and invite her to walk alongside him. Yes, pleasing her might get you a smile in the moment, but true leadership is what earns her lasting respect and real desire. Think about it. When you're always asking, "What do you want? What should we do? How can I make you happy?" it sounds polite, even thoughtful, but underneath, it reveals hesitation. It reveals insecurity. Instead of feeling safe with you, she feels the weight of having to decide everything. That pressure quietly kills her attraction. Leadership doesn't mean barking orders. It doesn't mean control. It means clarity. It means living by your values, knowing your mission, and guiding the relationship with direction. When you do this, She no longer has to guess whether you can handle life's storms. She sees it in the way you carry yourself. She feels it in the way you guide her with calm certainty. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's leadership in its purest form. Not words, not endless debates, but steady action and no. Real leadership won't make you rigid. When it comes from calm strength, not ego, it gives her something solid to lean into. It provides a frame where she can relax, trust, and fully express herself. Think of the small things. When you decide where to go for dinner, when you plan the weekend trip, when you set the tone in moments of stress, each of these moments shows her she can rely on your judgment. That trust is what ignites her attraction. The irony: the more you try to please, the less pleased she becomes. Because pleasing is reactive. It makes you chase her cues instead of setting your own. Leadership, on the other hand, is proactive. It sets the rhythm of the dance. In relationships, just like dancing, chaos happens if no one leads or if both try to lead. But when one man leads with rhythm and confidence, the woman flows naturally with ease. So stop obsessing over keeping her happy every second. Focus instead on becoming the man who naturally inspires happiness through his vision, his steadiness, and his standards. As Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Don't just talk about being a leader, live it. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with 3 words: "I lead firmly." Let that be your reminder that women don't follow men who please. They follow men who lead. Number 7. Dignity. In small moments matters most. Most men think women only judge them in the big, dramatic moments. But the truth, they're always watching the small ones, those subtle situations you dismiss as unimportant. Your dignity in those tiny moments speaks louder than money, status, or grand gestures ever could. Take Marcus Aurelius, who recently began dating Sarah Arshajou at a casual dinner. One friend jokingly teased Marcus about being the older guy at the table. In that split second, he had 2 choices. He could get defensive, try to prove he's still young, or like a Stoic, stay calm, laugh it off, and let the moment pass with grace. Had he chosen the first path, Sarah would have sensed insecurity, but instead, Marcus leaned back, smiled, delivered a clever remark, and carried on unshaken. That one response made her lean in closer, not because of the words, but because of the strength behind them. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That is dignity. Lose your cool in traffic. Sulk when things don't go your way. Snap at the waiter when the order's wrong, and she notices. Each small crack chips away at her respect. But when you stay centered, composed, and steady, she sees a man who can be trusted. Sarah isn't drawn to Marcus because of the meals he pays for, but because of the way he holds himself when challenged. That quiet strength is magnetic. Dignity doesn't shout, it whispers. It's restraint, composure, and grace under pressure. And for women, those whispers are louder than any performance. So never underestimate small moments. They build respect, and respect is the soil where attraction grows. Drop a comment below. I guard my dignity. Claim it for yourself. Number 8. Freedom, not fear, keeps her close. Most men miss this truth. A woman doesn't stay because you lock her down. She stays because she feels a sense of freedom when she's with you. Control, suspicion, and pressure may keep her physically near for a while, but they suffocate her desire. Freedom, on the other hand, makes her willingly choose you again and again. Think about it. If you're scrolling through her phone, questioning where she's been, or begging for constant reassurance, what message are you sending? You're telling her that you don't trust her, and deeper than that you don't even trust yourself. That's not strength. That's weakness pretending to be power. The Stoics called it apatheia, freedom from destructive emotions. Marcus Aurelius said it best: you have power over your mind, not outside events. The moment you internalize this truth, you gain strength by releasing the need to control her every move. Instead of trying to cage her, you stand firm in who you are. You show her that your stability doesn't depend on locking her down. And that's the very moment she feels drawn closer. Relationships built on fear always decay into resentment. When she feels caged, attraction dies. But when she feels freedom at your side, she associates you with expansion, growth, and a space where her femininity can breathe. That is magnetic. Now, freedom doesn't mean cage. It doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It means you hold yourself with such confidence that you don't panic at the thought of losing her. You set standards. You live by them. And then you allow her to step into that space by choice. Picture two men. One clings, sending 10 texts a day, demanding constant validation. The other sends one calm message, then returns to building his life. The first creates pressure. The second creates curiosity, and curiosity keeps her coming back. Women test strength, but what they crave is the man who can let go. The man who respects her choices, yet never doubts who he is. That presence isn't built on fear. It's built on freedom. And when she feels that freedom, she holds tighter. Not because she has to, but because life feels richer by your side. So here's your challenge. Stop trying to control her loyalty through fear. Start realizing that calm freedom is what makes her choose you. Write it in the comments below. I lead with freedom, because the moment you declare it, you begin to live it. Number 9, walk away strengthens devotion. There's a quiet, undeniable power in this skill, one most men overlook. When you demonstrate that your life continues with or without her, you earn something rare, her respect. And in many cases, that respect transforms into deep devotion. You see, women are wired to test limits. They want to know if the man beside them truly values himself, or if he'll trade his dignity just to keep her attention. If you don't have the courage to walk away, the message is clear. My happiness depends on you. That isn't love, it's dependence. And dependence suffocates attraction. Let's consider a real example. Ethan Sanchaliu, a small business owner from Chicago, dated a woman who constantly tested him. She canceled plans without notice, left him waiting, and sometimes flirted openly with others. At first, Ethan stayed patient, convincing himself that tolerance would prove his love. But the opposite happened. Her respect for him faded. Then one evening, when she repeated the same pattern, Ethan looked at her calmly and said, "I don't chase disrespect. If games are what you want, you can play them alone." And he walked away. What happened next? The very next day, she called back, apologizing, suddenly realizing what she risked, losing. It wasn't his endless tolerance, it was his strength that inspired her devotion. Now contrast that with Melissa Arshitsi. From Phoenix, she dated an older man who never stood his ground. She tested him again and again, but he always folded. He thought unconditional acceptance would secure her heart. Instead, it signaled weakness. Eventually, she lost interest, not because he was unkind, but because he never showed backbone. This is where Stoic wisdom shines. Epictetus once said, "Never depend on the admiration of another. There is no strength in it." A man who embraces this truth stops begging, pleading, or clinging. He knows his value exists regardless of anyone's approval. And ironically, that independence makes her crave his presence more. Walking away isn't about cruelty. It's about protecting your dignity, your energy, and your mission. When a woman realizes you'd rather be alone than disrespected, her perception of you changes instantly. Your love becomes rare, scarce, priceless. So here's the challenge for you. Ask yourself, am I staying out of fear or out of strength? If it's fear, you're already losing. But if it's strength, you've already won her respect. Now, lock this lesson into your mindset. Drop a comment below. I choose strength. Because the moment you declare it, you begin to live it. Number 10. True loyalty follows masculine steadiness. When everything is stripped down, loyalty isn't about gifts, sacrifices, or bending to constant demands. It's about the man himself, steady, rooted, and unwavering. A loyal woman doesn't follow the one who buys her the most. She follows the man who remains grounded when tested. He doesn't fold under temptation, doesn't abandon himself in chaos, and doesn't lose his center when pressure builds. This steadiness isn't stiffness, it's strength with depth, like a great oak tree. The winds howl, storms crash, yet the roots dig deep enough to hold firm. Women naturally search for this presence, not out of weakness, but because feminine energy thrives when paired with stable masculine strength. She wants to feel that when emotions flare, you won't crumble beside her. That when challenges rise, you won't abandon your principles. That when the world feels uncertain, your center remains clear. What drives women away isn't failure or imperfection, it's instability. Most men swing wildly, needy one day, distant the next, confident until rejection, then desperate for validation. That inconsistency feels unsafe, and safety is the root of loyalty. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the essence of masculine steadiness. It's knowing that no matter what happens outside her moods, her words, her tests, you stay anchored within yourself. And that stability becomes magnetic. It inspires respect, trust, and devotion without force. True loyalty can't be purchased or begged for. It's earned by the man who lives aligned with his values, unshaken by storms. When steadiness is your core, her loyalty isn't compliance, it's choice. And choice is the purest form of devotion. So, as we reach this closing point, I want to leave you with one truth. Steadiness does not mean shutting off your emotions. It means guiding them. It means mastering yourself when the world around you is losing balance. That steadiness is what separates a man she respects from a man she forgets. It's not endless sacrifices or desperate efforts that win her loyalty. It's the strength of direction, the calm of control, and the quiet power of a man who doesn't waver. In the end, true devotion follows masculine steadiness. If this message resonated, show your support. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss these powerful mindset shifts. Here, we don't chase approval. We lead with clarity. We grow together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.